We're going to try to make this a quicker show than the last quick show that I did. I realize that you guys are probably as tired of the election stuff as I am. If you live in the United States, you can't help it. But this is a news story that caught my attention and really kind of spoke to me, at least as far as this show goes. Okay, second episode I talked about religion. This episode we're talking politics. So this is Colleen Lachowitz. She's 48 years old, lives in Maine, likes to knit, and happened to run for the Maine State Senate as a Democrat. Now, before this turns into a Match.com ad, what makes this important to this show? Her other hobby is playing World of Warcraft.
You can assure Garrosh that this is a minor setback. Our victory in Gelneus will be absolute.
Now, on the surface, this is pretty cool. Everyone needs a hobby, right?
Yeah, well, apparently not everybody thought it was cool.
The Republican Party of Maine found her posts about World of Warcraft, her character profile, and other stuff, and decided to make this an issue. They sent out postcards, made websites, put out press releases, and used it as a springboard to attack her so-called double life. The postcard made many a gamer ear perk about how ignorant the Maine Republican Party was to gaming, like calling DPS deaths per second, or using the term assassination rogue without even seeming to know what it meant. I kind of wonder if she was a combat rogue, if that had made a difference. Probably not. When news of this smear campaign hit the web, gamers were quick to react. They flooded the Lachowitz with offers of donations to her campaign, but as a publicly funded candidate in Maine's clean election program, she couldn't accept them, so she told people to donate to Act Blue, which of course made the Republican Party file an ethics violation against her, which was dismissed by the ethics committee, but let's not get into that. The main focus for the Republicans, however, was to attack Lachowitz's so-called double life. The Republican Party specifically stated, and let me quote this, that she, quote, has been living a time-consuming double life as a member of the World of Warcraft community. The press release from the Republicans painted a picture of her as a lazy, immature gamer, seeming to make this the focal point in their campaign against her. So how'd their smear campaign work out for them? She won. Loktar Ogar. Not a crushing, horde-like victory to be sure, but a convincing victory nonetheless. Colleen Lachowitz embraced her status as the gaming candidate, announcing her victory on Twitter and Facebook with this.
Ooh, I think I'm in love.
A little creepy, but it works.
The smear campaign backfired. Horribly. Worse than a Goblin rocket engine backfired. Gamers united from all over the world to make donations. The BBC and several other international press places wanted interviews. Even Republican gamers rallied behind her campaign. You know you've made a bad decision when the Colbert Report makes fun of you. In fact, the Portland Press-Herald quoted the Democratic Legislative Campaign Committee in saying, quote, Republicans have succeeded in making Senate District 25 perhaps the most nationally watched legislative race in the country right now.
Now, there's two reasons I bring this up in a show like this. The first one is, I was wrong. When I did my show about gamer stereotypes, I portrayed it as one way, but apparently it's changing. Slowly, but it's changing. There were enough voters that were gamers themselves or just didn't see it as enough of a moral issue that they elected this woman into office, and that's pretty awesome. Now, the second reason I bring this up, gaming has gone mainstream, guys. Get used to it.
The entire smear campaign was playing on the stereotype that gamers sit in the basement and spend hours playing the game and doing nothing else. Gaming as an activity has become so widespread that the people just didn't bite on the bait. Add to this the growing popularity of esports, the widespread playing of social media games like Farmville, or even the common sight of someone playing Angry Birds or carrying a DS to play Pokemon on the bus to work. Gamers are everywhere now. They're not just sitting in their basements. My point is that this election put a huge spotlight on gamers and gamer culture, and we came out looking pretty good. As much as the hardcore crowd hates things like esports and casual gamers playing on their phones being called real gamers, it's making the hobby legitimate. It's making this guy out for what he is, a caricature. MMOs are also being seen by the general public as beneficial by more than just the people who play them. A retired New York City police officer posted on Lachowitz's Facebook page, it only shows your ability to interact with many, many people. And I've wanted to quote this guy for ages.
I would rather hire a high-level World of Warcraft player than an MBA from Harvard.
The bottom line, the spotlight is on gamer culture and the world is taking notice. And I know it's beating a dead horse when I talk about comments made by such personalities like Eris.
You can't. They're one and the same thing.
But this election was, in part, about gamer culture and stereotypes like the one he propagates. And even though I know Lachowitz said that she didn't want to be a poster child for a game that she didn't have time to play during the election, the voters stated that gamers are seen as normal, everyday folk, and I, for one, welcome this. It means I can go around talking about virtual things and not look like I'm insane. It means I can play a video game and people don't ask me why I'm still playing with kids' toys. And it means that the social skills that I'm honing in a world that is virtual has real-world applications. It won't get me a job anywhere, but hey, it's kind of nice to know.
I will close with this, that this right over here is her character. Easy enough to find if you do a quick search, and when you look at her character, you can see she's a typical World of Warcraft player. You can tell that. She's level 85, she's got a gear score less than 350, she's got 2 epic items only. This is not somebody who spends hours and hours sitting in the basement wasting taxpayers' money, doing nothing but doing this antisocial game like they were trying to portray her out to be. I would say that just looking at this, she's a fairly typical World of Warcraft player. Fluent enough in the game to enjoy it, but it doesn't consume her entire life. Awesome. One thing I also find really fun in this is that people can be elected to office regardless of what they do for a hobby. I mean, you know how those knitters can get. Whew.
So if an orc can run for government office, do you think a worgen has a chance?
You know, Obama did run an entire campaign based on change.
Lycanthropy humor. I get it.